City of Our Lives, I worked on for the better part of 5 years. And it was, well, I mean, I guess more like took 5 years to get it out, but like probably, 3 years of 3.5 years of deep work and um, recording, re-recording. Like that was like the biggest swing I've ever taken in my life, of really going for something. And there was just a series of unexpected tragedies that happened around trying to get that album out. So, some of which are really sad to talk about, and so after all of the ups and downs and things that that were looking literally like world domination for that album, and very high powered people that loved the album that were going to take it places, and just a lot of I mean, literally there was people who died, and there was very unexpected things that happened. um After all of that, it sort of came to a different release than I had anticipated, and it was scheduled to be released April 3rd, 2020.
which would be like 2 weeks
Right at
after
the,
we officially had a pandemic. I think like March 17th is considered the pandemic
yeah,
start.
yeah. It was originally supposed to start like that album was originally going to start coming out in like 2018, 2019. And anyways, there was a whole sequence of events that we would need a whole other hour to talk about. Um, and anyways, obviously pulled the plug on releasing it in April at the last moment after everything with the pandemic. And then I had to put it out in November, because of some granting things that I'd had, and there's just sort of a limit to how long you can push things. And so I couldn't really do the thing that I do best, which is tour. I've built my whole career on touring, and it really was it, it was nothing short of devastating to not be able to give that album the life that it deserved. And I had so many people that believed in it, that and so it was really difficult, to not give that album what it deserved, and not see it have the life that we all felt it should have. And but life happens, and in the void of not being able to tour that album and do all those things, this other incredible part of my life emerged, and the speaking work that I do. And I built this whole virtual studio and this virtual setup, and I just trust that everything happens the way it's supposed to happen. And we have some cool things in the vault still to give still mind to give City of Our Lives some life. We shot a documentary. We did a show at Roy Thompson Hall that we captured in a really beautiful way. So hopefully there will still be a life for it. And I think that the good and bad thing is, as an artist, you're hopefully always growing and evolving. And so I also want to make room for new music and all those kind of things. So I don't exactly know how that's all going to play out, but I know that City of Our Lives, I think, and I feel like I can love it in a way almost objectively, because I don't see it as only me. I like all the producers and all the different people that were involved in creating it. Like, that's not just me. It's also Derek Hoffman and Rich Jacks and Robin DeLunto and all these different people that contributed Howie Beck to that album. And so I think, like, I put that album on, and even though it's my name on the cover of the album, I love that album in the same way that I love some of my favorite albums of all time. Like, I really think that it's a great pop album that I think it could stand up against any other of the pop albums that I love. And I think it's that good. And so I just hope and trust that it will still find its way. And I think it's a gem out there that's waiting to be discovered.
Yeah, to me, listening to it several times, it seems very focused. It seems like there's a cohesive sound all the way through the album. Like you had a vision in advance for what it would be. You mentioned Derek Hoffman that produced it. That's a Juno nominee. He's worked with like Silverstein. I have a list here. So Silverstein, Arkells, The Trues, Donovan Woods, Alexis on Fire. I actually know him. We were on the same season of Canadian Idol, which is going
Oh,
way back,
hilarious. Yeah.
which is funny. So super talented dude. I'm actually a big Robin DeLunto fan, and we go
Amazing.
way back. I'm still trying to get her on this podcast. I can get
Uh,
Stained, I can get Finger 11, but Robin DeLunto, she's busy, so I'm still working on that. How much did Derek Hoffman have to do with that sound, that pop electronic sound? And so that's one question. The other one is, it seems that most of the drums are programmed. Curious if that is a choice because of the sound you're going for, because of maybe Derek. I don't know if Derek programs drums and and or is it because it's in the pandemic, you're actually isolated, you can't go and record a physical drummer?
no, we recorded that album way before the pandemic. So that album was like mixed and mastered um way before the pandemic. And there was, like I said, there was a whole thing that was supposed to happen with that album, with like a lot of muscle behind it. And yeah, there's just a bunch of things that tragically happened. But yeah, Derek definitely deserves enormous credit for the sound of that album. And I mean, Rich Jacks, that I wrote 6 of the songs with, and he's the guy that I was working on the new stuff with, really deserves a lot of credit for kind of breaking me out of my shell and into like writing more pop music. And Derek is really the one that kind of found the sound. I recorded that album many times in other incarnations with super talented producers and people that I love and respect their work, but I just wasn't getting the thing that I was looking for. And it was actually Robin DeLunto that connected me with Derek. She said, I think this is the guy you're looking for. And as soon as I got in the room with Derek, I was like, this is it. And because Derek just brings, he's a musician. He's a real musician. He can play any instrument incredibly well. He's a songwriter, and he also has a mastery of the technology, and so he can kind of play the computer like you can play a guitar. And so the cool thing was Derek actually had all of this source material, because I had actually gone into Revolution and I had recorded drums on some of those songs, and we recorded real pianos, and so he actually took some of those real elements and then chopped them up, and of course he did a lot of programming and stuff like that. But we didn't, some of the drums that you're hearing, it's like a drum sample, but it's our drum sample. So that was a real drummer that was playing it, and then Derek chopped it up and sequenced it, or those kind of things. So there is a real kind of hybrid organic electronic thing that's happening on that album, whether you kind of realize it or not. And it's like, if you want to make a pop song, the drums can only be so loose. You need to beat detective that and get it tight. Otherwise, it just doesn't sound like a pop song. And you kind of need some of those swells, or those things that get you into the chorus. Some of those program things, that's what kind of makes it have that pop feel. And so I think Derek is just a really tasty person who knows how to use those things in a musical way. And it's such a fine line that you're walking, and Derek was the guy to do that.
Yeah, Derek, it reminds me of Trent Reznor of Nine Inch Nails, where he'll record real drums and then really manipulate them where it sounds like a
Exactly.
machine, even though the source is an actual musician.
Exactly.